Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining MegaCity Oceania. So this is the setup at the beginning of a game of MegaCity Oceania. I've set the game up as a two-player game. I will point out the different rules for two players as opposed to 3 or 4 players as we go through. There are not many differences. So everyone starts with a park, and I'll explain the need for the park in a moment. Red is going to be the first player, which means blue, being the second player, will get 1 extra piece. That is a piece that has come at random out of the bag. The bag is full of various building elements. So the idea of the game is to get one of these contracts, put it onto a base of a matching color of the outside of the contract, and then once you've built it, deliver it to the city. There are a couple of things within the contract to be aware of. This tells you how high in millimeters the building must be. Each millimeter is regarded as one level of the building, by the way. And this tells you how many pieces must be in the building. Some of them will have a little plus next to it, so you can read that as a minimum. If it doesn't have the plus, that's an exact 7. And then down the bottom, it will tell you some other potential differences. So this one is saying it needs to be built covering, or part covering, should I say, the vent, which is this little section here. This tells you what is on the color of the other side of the card. The other thing that needs to be on there, noticing that these two don't actually go together, it would need to be on this side to do it. But what else is on this card is these 3 spots. On those 3 spots, you must touch with your building on every type of building. So there are 2 distinct different versions of your turn. Majority of the game is based on the gradual building and collecting stuff in so you can build, and then you get points by delivering your building from where you're sitting to the mega city. If in that delivering you manage to knock your building over, you must take it back and wait till it goes around the table for your turn again before you try to deliver that building again. If you're watching closely when I showed you earlier the bag full of building pieces, you will have noticed that there are 3 different colored pieces that you can be building from. When you deliver a building to the city, if it's all made out of one of the building materials, it is worth an extra point to you. If you have managed to deliver the tallest building in the mega city, so the first building that gets delivered will be the tallest, that marker goes next to the tallest building so we know which one it is, and you get an extra point for that. And the other thing you get an extra point for is if you deliver a purple building, which is a public building and allows you to put a piece onto the central park, which is marked by this. These are other parks. So if you put a piece on Central Park, you'll get a point for that as well. So it's possible to get 3 extra points. The other thing to be aware of is at the bottom of each card shows you how many points each building is worth at the end of the game. Once you've built the building and delivered it to the city, you'll turn that over and that will show you again the points that you'll be gaining at the end of the game. So having said all that, what does the game actually look like? The first thing that happens is in a regular game, a 3 or 4 player game, you will have 2 actions on your turn. In a 2-player game, you will have 3 actions. What are those actions? I'm glad you asked. The first action is to take a building contract. That is these 4 cards. You can take any one of the 4 that is completely visible, and that then makes the next ones down visible. So let's say he took that card as one of his actions. The second action is to take a platform, which is one of these 3 that are available. So because he's got a red building, he'll probably take the red platform. That then gets replaced, so you flip the top card over when you're replacing it. The next action, and this is the action you will take for most of the game, has to do with this bag. As one action, you'll reach in and take 3 pieces out and keep them next to your board. That's building pieces. So you have a maximum number of 15 pieces that you can have on your buildings that are in your personal area or next to it. It doesn't obviously count stuff that's in the city already. The other thing you could do, rather than reaching in and taking 3 at random, is you can have a look in the bag to take a piece of the color that you wish. Something else you may wish to do, or an action you can do, is rezone a platform that you have. So if I've got this platform and I actually had that card, that's a purple, this is saying that's purple on the back, so I could rezone that platform for purple. Another action is I can refresh the platform. So these three would go on the bottom and the next three would come out. Notice that I'm flipping these as they're coming out. So there's a different three available. And the last action that's available to you is reorganizing one of these. So say I desperately want to go after this one, but I don't have the pieces to make that up. They just have a little courtyard in the area that you're building on the base level. You can't cover that courtyard. You can go up above it, but as long as you can actually see the courtyard once the building's built, that would be correct. So instead of that one, what you can do is take that and put it to the back, and that brings a different one to the front. This one can't be built with any of the clear pieces. And that's the basics of the standard actions. That's what you're going to do for the majority of the game. Once I have built a building, so for example, this one, which has 6 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it is at least 35 millimeters high. It's well and truly above that. I then need to add one of my markers to show that I own that building for counting up at the end of the game. I am allowed to put it at the top if I wish to, and that will actually gain an extra 5 mil onto the height of the building. I don't need to at the moment, so I'll just put it to the side. The next step is to push this in so it is touching Central Park or something that has been touching Central Park. That now becomes the tallest building. Now, because I've built the tallest building, I get one of these, which is an extra point. That flips over, by the way. Because it's all in the same color, I get another one. What I'm now allowed to do is put my park in, and I might put the park there. On a future turn, when someone puts a building next to this park, they can put a spare building piece on that, and what that's going to do is give an extra point to everything that is surrounding the park at the end of the game. So any action with that would have to actually be connected to the park. If I was to build something with the purple base, it doesn't matter where I build it. I can then, if I have a piece left over, that is, let's for example imagine I had that, I can then build something in Central Park, and that would get me another point as well. The building will continue until all of these contract cards have gone out to all the players, so there's no contract cards available, at which point these 4 cards become available. You can only pick up one of these 4 cards if you don't have any contracts that you're still trying to build. Once the last one of these cards has been built into the city, everyone will get one more turn, and then it goes to a final round, and in that final round you need to make a choice of either building with what you have in front of you, and obviously get the points for doing so, and that's called deliver. Or you can recycle, and that's basically taking all the pieces that you have in front of you, putting them back in the bag, and that gets you 1 extra point for doing that. At the end of the game, whoever holds the highest building gets the extra 3 points for the tallest building. If you have at least 1 building on each of the bases, you'll get that, which gives you 3 points. Everyone is able to get that. And then the person who has the most points in each of the 4 building types would get another mark, which is worth an extra 2 points. And then finally, for every 3 building pieces you have left in front of you, if you haven't returned them to the bag, you would lose a point. And that is really the game. Whoever has the most points at the end of that is the winner. I will leave it there. Please go ahead and watch my gameplay to get a feel for how the game actually plays. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you would like to be Gamesplained, please shoot me an email to thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.